All right, today we're going to zoom in on just one day in one town, Wednesday, January 28th in Hastings, Minnesota. We'll start with the weather, what they're calling the Hastings in January bite. And then we're going to jump in a time capsule and see what amazing ideas clicked into place on this very day in history.
You know, this quote from HastingsNow.com, it just nails it, right? You can almost feel it. You've got this brilliant sun glinting off the frozen Mississippi. It looks like a perfect postcard. But then you step outside and that Minnesota air just smacks you in the face. It's a beautiful day for sure, but man, it has got a serious bite.
Okay, so let's talk about that bite. What does it actually feel like to be in Hastings today? Let's break down the numbers.
So get this, the high temperature today is supposed to warm up to 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, I'm putting warm up in some serious air quotes there. 9 degrees is the peak for the whole day. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know about wearing layers, doesn't it?
But here's the real story. That's not what it actually feels like. Thanks to the wind chill makes it feel like -15. Wow, that is a 24-degree drop from an already freezing temperature. So the number you really got to pay attention to today isn't 9, it's -15. That wind is the main character today.
All right, let's get a little more specific. If you're actually in Hastings trying to plan your day around this, here's a quick look at the forecast, from morning all the way through to the evening. Okay, looking at the key stats here, we've got a high of 9 and a low of -6. Now the good news, there's basically zero chance of snow, so that's something. But you still got that pesky northwest wind kicking around at 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's not a hurricane, but it's just enough to make sure you really feel that -15 wind chill.
So, let's walk through the day, shall we? You wake up, it's a bright morning, but it is brutally cold with that wind chill. Then the afternoon rolls around, and you hit that peak warmth of 9 degrees, which the source perfectly calls zip it all the way up weather. I love that. And then as we head into the evening, the skies stay clear, the wind calms down, which actually makes it a great night for stargazing, you know, if you can brave the cold. So how in the world do you handle a day like this? Well, the advice is pretty straightforward. Cover all exposed skin. I'm talking hat, gloves, face mask, no shortcuts. If you're planning a walk downtown, maybe schedule a little coffee stop to warm up. And for sure, let your car warm up a few extra minutes this morning. And here's a little local humor for you. If you're down by Levee Park, maybe just wave at the river from inside your scarf. Okay, you know, a day this cold kind of forces you to slow down, right? It's a day for staying inside, maybe with a hot drink. A day for reflection. So let's use this moment to do just that. We're going to look back and connect this one single cold day in Hastings to some really significant ideas that clicked into place on this exact date, January 28th, throughout history.
And believe it or not, this date has given us some really powerful ideas. We're going to start close to home, right in Minnesota, with a community innovation from 1890. Then we'll jump to a huge cultural milestone in 1908, and we're going to finish in 1958 with an invention that I can almost guarantee you've played with.
Okay, back on January 28, 1890, a group of farmers in Clarks Grove, Minnesota did something, well, revolutionary for the time. They formed a dairy cooperative. And all that really means is that they owned the business together, they controlled it together, and they shared in the profits together. The idea was so good, so effective, that other communities all over the region started copying it, like right down to the exact bylaws. It's just a brilliant example of the power of a good community idea.
All right, let's jump forward to 1908. On this day, Julia Ward Howe, who was a really prominent author and activist, she broke a major barrier. She became the very first woman elected to the American Academy of Arts and Letters. I mean, think about that. It was a huge milestone, opening doors in the world of culture and intellect that, up until then, had been pretty much closed to women. So we've seen the power of a community idea with a co-op, and a major cultural milestone. For our last stop, in 1958, let's look at the power of a simple, yet totally ingenious product idea.
I think we can all relate to this. Before 1958, toy building bricks were, well, they were kind of frustrating, right? They were loose, they didn't stick together, your creations would just fall apart. But on January 28th of that year, the Lego Group filed a patent for its stud and tube design. And that was the secret sauce. This created the perfect clutch power, allowing the bricks to click together securely. It unlocked this endless creative potential. That simple innovation, that little click, it changed everything.
So, there you have it.
From a cooperative that empowered farmers, to a huge cultural first for women, to the simple, satisfying click of a toy brick, January 28th has been a pretty big day for ideas. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? As you're bundled up against the cold, whether you're in Hastings or somewhere else entirely. On a day just like this, what big ideas are clicking into place for you?